Now, so I know that the IGN review seems like it's the worst thing in the world, but that's nothing compared to jimquisition review, which in here, guess how much of a score that James Stephanie Sterling has given it? 4?
4.
It is 4.
Yeah, I know. I've heard. I've not watched it because of that. Yeah, I don't even.
Yeah. So basically, this review has got a bunch of pictures showing how much of obsession is about people shoving their heads into people's butts.
Yeah.
And then it just goes into a huge bad faith complaints about like the AI glitches and everything. But to be honest, I think there was a lot of like interesting points where it's about how much of a local map there's an issue and how much is similar to No Man's Sky. That even though she did mention that, like, please remember that I really didn't like No Man's Sky to the point where the fans notoriously denial service their website in response to my review. I'm no way praising No Man's Sky when favorably contrasting it against this F word.
So, okay, I do really want to talk about. I'm not a huge fan of Sterling, to be honest. I've got off her content recently. I used to like it, but I feel like she's got a bit mad and like, yeah. I like her Breath of the Wild review was just like mad to me.
Yeah, like, 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that wasn't great either. That one I completely. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to reviews anymore. And she's like super positive about the Outer Worlds, which I love the Outer Worlds. So get me wrong. But this just feels like Starfield feels like Outer Worlds 2. It just feels like an improvement on Outer Worlds pretty much in every way. It's like the same game, just bigger and more stuff to do. I guess Outer Worlds has a bit more of a sense of humor and a bit more of an Obsidian style to it. But I don't understand how you could like say your game of the year is Outer Worlds and then say Starfield's a 4 out of 10. It doesn't make sense to me because the games are very similar. Like that's why I was like, when people say, "Oh, it's No Man's Sky," but with Bethesda stuff, it's like, no, it's not that. It's literally Outer Worlds 2. It's just Outer Worlds but bigger. Literally, it's just Outer Worlds again. And the Outer Worlds is a fantastic game, and people need to play it. If you like Starfield and you haven't played Outer Worlds, go back and play Outer Worlds once you've beaten Starfield.
Yeah, really this leads to another point, and it's a couple of paragraphs that, well, Starfield's galaxy is nebulously big, its vast array of barren planets populated by recycled assets is absolutely no justification for what this thing truly is. Just another buggy Bethesda game following an ancient blueprint that hasn't evolved creatively or mechanically since Fallout freaking 3. On a fundamental level, Starfield plays exactly just like any other Bethesda game, and it with features borrowed and significantly lessened from No Man's Sky and Outer Worlds.
Okay. Fallout. This is annoying me now. If you brought out Fallout 3 now, and it was just better graphics, and it had quicker load times and stuff, people still would be giving it a 4 out of 10. You're saying it hasn't changed from Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is still an amazing game. It's like, this 10 out of 10, it's not improved since this 10 out of 10 game. It's like, oh, okay. And it's like, as he says himself, it's very similar to the Outer Worlds. And the Outer Worlds is a great game, and he loved the Outer Worlds, so I don't understand his logic. Literally don't get it. Don't get him. Don't get it. I don't get stealing at all.
And it scored 1 point lower than I like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and even Forspoken, which to me, Forspoken is a worse game.
Oh yeah, of course it is. It's a much worse game. Bloody hell! That's what annoys me. Is just this so. Dan Stapleton's 7 out of 10 review was disingenuous. This is at least laughably disingenuous. Like, we can tell that she's doing it just to piss everyone off. You can just tell that she's done that on purpose, giving it a 4 out of 10 just to piss everyone off. Whereas Dan Stapleton's like going, 7 out of 10's not that bad, guys.
Well,
it's like pretending it's not a bad review when it really is.
Well, the review somehow peaked when this huge paragraph And it's the third paragraph of this whole thing. It says, to call Starfield the least broken Bethesda game is akin to calling any single TERF the least embarrassing fascist. Then again, given how Cinemax and Bethesda seem to treat trans employees, that comparison may hit too close to home. Like, wow. Like...
I love that. I love the fact that it's like... she says TERFs and how against transgender employees, but then you also got people on the other side saying Starfield's too woke because it's got pronouns. So, well, fucking hell, how can they can't win? it's ultra fascist, homophobic, transphobic, and all that. It's ultra woke at the same time. Which is it, guys? Have you seen the guy yelling about pronouns?
Yeah,
oh God,
it's been mentioned.
It's hilarious.
And in fact, there was even the jimquisition video in YouTube that talks about how people has complained about pronouns as basically her, like, to just pretty much be as poetic and huge as much as she can to say how people complained about pronouns for the game are acted like babies, and then goes on to see like how bad the Starfield is, especially for this all bad stuff. But I think, to be honest, it's just a lot of ham-fisted stuff there. Like, I get it. It's okay to have opinion about it. If you don't like the game, then I respect that. And if you feel like you don't really want to support Bethesda games, you don't have to review the game. But if you want to anyway, and just complain about it, as long as you're really constructive and being able to be more forward with it, that's fine. But to be able to compare things just to shame people for even playing the game is just pretty much of a step in it. And it just seems to suggest that Starfield is just as bad as Hogwarts Legacy, when obviously this refers to the trans experience we did mention earlier in the podcast, and this refers to the harm that Bethesda has been causing to the trans employees, and this stems from the development of the Elder Scrolls Online. That does not... I can't tell whether this is the same or different with people who develop Starfield, but I do feel that this video, the point of this video is to be able to encourage companies to have better policies and treat trans employees at the Bethesda with better respect. But then this turns into an ammunition just to like take aim at anything Starfield, especially the player base. So it just seems like more accusations or some sort like that. It's just crazy.
I feel like it's just depressing to be in the world. I miss the days when like a game like Fallout would come out and say, "Hey, have you seen this game Fallout? It's like a nuclear apocalypse. You go around and shoot people." It's like, well, that's cool. Yeah, this looks like a cool game. I'll play it. Now it's like, Starfield super woke, can't play that game, or xenophobic. Oh, shut up! It's just like let people just play their game, for God's sake. It's
so
like,
anyone who's listening to the podcast this week,
so toxic.
and you got your fingernails ready to make memes, then there's a few bits there to combine with Stephanie Sterling's complaints about the Starfield. I'm sure they will happen. I'm sure. Yeah, it winds me up that we just can't have nice things anymore. We can't just Bethesda make a cool game about space, and all we get is this shit every week. I'm like, can we just enjoy the game, please? Because the game is fun. Let's move on.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter, or X Marks the Box on YouTube, and follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.